I'm going to go over the existing website for Garrity Orthodontic Seminars, also known as orthodonticteaching.com. I'm also going to go over the new site for orthodonticteaching.com. I'm going to explain some of the differences between them. For the purposes of this conversation, there are two levels of access to this. Well, first off, there are three levels. There is public access. There are members or subscribers. I'll be referring to them as well. And then I'll also be referring to an admin who is our client. I'm currently logged in as an admin, and I know that because I can see a second bar of navigation here. When I'm logged in as a member, I would only see one bar for the navigation with the member dashboard. So I'm kind of going to jump around a little bit to this, but just know that the top bar is accessible to everyone most of the time, and there are more options when I'm logged in, and the bottom bar is only accessible to the admin, which I'm logged in as currently. This is the existing site. This is the new site. Much more responsive, much larger. The current site is very dynamic and very powerful. Needs some recoding on a number of places, but for the most part it does work the way we'd like it to. There are some vast improvements that I'm going to go over here in the future, or for this next build that we're going to have. This is the so what I'll do is I'll approach it like this. I'll go piece by piece through this site, and I will create, or I will showcase what a member would see, or the public, and then I'll show what the admin can see regarding that module. And then I'm going to jump over to the new site, and I'll showcase that exact same setup, where we'll show what the user, subscriber, or public person would see, and then I'll also show what the admin will see in the future. The first section is really the bread and butter of the site. I'm going to log out as the admin, and I'm going to log in as a user. You'll notice that when you get to the home page, we've got a pretty annoying video that's going to play every time. So I do suggest that as you are working on the existing site, you might want to put your mute on. But go ahead, and I'm going to log in here as a user. And once I'm in, I'm taken to my dashboard here. You'll see that there's a dashboard of my courses, which are courses that have been purchased. We have upcoming events. These are actually public. Everyone can see these, but we found that we should put them also on the dashboard. We have a forum where you can actually interact with other dentists. We have latest articles. This will actually be changing to resources in the next build. We have news and blog, which is actually public, and we wanted to put it here in the dashboard. And lastly, we have my cases. So this section is where people can ask the admin for feedback on their orthodontic cases, and we can give feedback back and forth. The site in general is a membership-based site. There are basic and premium members. So in order to get access to this dashboard, they would have to maintain a yearly fee. In addition to that, these courses here are all for purchase, so they can have purchased many courses, but if they don't keep their membership up, they won't be able to log into their dashboard here. So we'll show some warnings to the users here on the new site that I'll show you coming up. I'll show you the dashboard that I've created for the new site. The CSS on this section seems to be a little off to me. I'm not sure exactly why yet, but I will take a look at this and make sure that this is all in order by the time that you would work on this. Basically, we have the same sections here. They're just in different areas. So we've got the My Courses, My Cases. It's got a quick count of how many this user has. and then it's got other items here that they can quantify with some quick numbers. So this is kind of what the new one looks like. The main section of the website is going to be continuing education and these courses. So these are kind of linked together. If I go to continuing education here, I can purchase additional courses. I can also have courses that are bundled, where this actual product here is a bundling of the 4 products beneath it. So the comprehensive complete 4-session package is a bundle of each of these 4 products beneath it. So I'll go in and show you what these courses look like once they're purchased. And this is really the purpose of the site right here. If I go to session 1, there's a series of videos on the right hand side. These are each different videos.
I would like to begin session 1 of the comprehensive.
And then we can go to, after we watch that, we can go to the second video, and on and on and on. And the user will, the member will basically watch all of these videos and learn how to do orthodontics based on the video.
Down to the mandibular border. In D-line, using your triangle.
Okay, so there's these videos on the right-hand side as well. There are files that are PDFs or graphics or things like that that are uploaded for each course. And then underneath that, there are evaluations. These evaluations are actually little tests. And these tests each have multiple choice areas. So we can choose true and click on next question. And it goes all the way through until you get to the 10th question. And so normally they're multiple choice, but sometimes we get a project that has to be created, which is written in as the answer. So this is the last question. I'm going to hit Save Answer and Submit for grading. Okay, so that test has been completed, and you'll see down here it says now submitted to be graded. And that will go to the admin, and she will review it and give me a grade. Most likely I failed that because I didn't know any of the answers. Once all of these evaluations are completed and they are correct, or they are approved, that we passed the test, we will get a pass on the admin tool. And we will also be able to download an evaluation of continuing education credits. Each of these courses have a number of credits that are associated with them. So if you go to the continuing education section again, excuse me, you'll be able to see that each of these courses have a certain amount of CE. So I can see 25 CE for self-instruction here. That would come with it. Other ones have 1 credit. Some of them have 6 credits. Some of them have 4. So they'll all kind of vary as we create these products, these learning products. If I go back to my dashboard, I will be able to see that there are Session 2 is another course that I purchased. And I can see the notes that are from the admin. These are not notes specific to each subscriber. I can't take notes on here, but rather these are notes that the admin has plugged in that I should be kind of looking at during this video. And these are session specific. These are not section specific. In addition, we're going to be breaking these sections up into modules. So we're going to take a look at that here in a little bit. So that's basically the process here. I'm not going to worry about any of this stuff on the new site, but we are going to need to bring over all the sessions, all the sections and videos and course files and evaluations into the new admin tool. Okay, so from the admin side, what they would see is they'd get the gradebook. And they could see basically that they have items that are ready to be graded. This is the last item that was graded. This is the test that I just took. So I can click on there, and it will actually show me what they got wrong or right. And I'm going to scroll to the bottom and click on, oops, I'm sorry, it's actually up here at the top. I'm going to submit grade. It pre-grades it for me. So I think a 90% is the lowest I can have. And anything below that's automatically going to fail. But this would be an opportunity for me to come in and actually change them to correct or incorrect. I'm going to hit submit grade, and the test results have failed. I got 3 right out of 10. I can go back to the grade book, and I can see all the grades that have existed for every person over time. This would need to be paginated in the updated website, but this is a very long list of grades. Okay, so if I actually refresh this page, I should be able to see that I've failed a test. I need to go back to session 1. And it's told me that I have failed this test. I can retake that test if I want and go back through it. I'm not going to do that right now. So that's kind of how these courses look to the subscriber. From the admin side, if I go, I'm going to log in as the admin. And notice again that the admin would see this second bar right here. I'm going to go to classes, and I'm going to see that each of these products are here. Each of these items are here. Now currently on this site we have products and continuing education as 2 separate products, but just know that they'll be combined into one area on the new site. Products are usually reserved for items that are hard shipped. They're not a course. You will not have courses here. It looks like she has actually put one here, one bundle package, but we'll probably be creating that within the courses themselves. And then we have a My Case. That's also a digital product. I'll talk about that here in a second. They can be purchased. Okay, so I'm back at the classes, which is the admin side for continuing education. So this is obviously not editable by the user, but if I go to this classes tab, I can edit this. And this product itself is the bundle of 4 packages. I'm not exactly sure where they're currently being bundled, but this should include four of the sessions within it. I should be able to select the other classes that go with this. I'm currently not able to locate that. But let's go to session 1 instead of the complete 4-course package. You'll see that we have this large and small. That's going to be the difference between a course and a mini course. So that will need to change, and I'll show you where that is on the updated version. We have a rank here which just shows exactly where in the order that course will actually appear. We have a name, we have a price for this course, we have a description, we have notes that you saw that were on the video screen underneath the video. We have specifications. I will show you where those go. That's on the products page. Then we have a features page here. So this will show you kind of what the features are for that product. We also have some tags here, which this will be converted to, instead of categories, it will be tags, and you can add tags and then check them off for each of these items. Underneath that, we have course documents. These are PDFs and documents that go along with the material that users can download once they purchase. There are also images here, so you can upload an image as well, and you can remove them here. You can add a new one, you can remove it, you can delete it, or you can edit it. Beneath here is the courses evaluations. So these were the course evaluations that I spoke about earlier. I can hit view, and I will see that there are 10 multiple choice questions with each one of these evaluations. If I click on edit, I should be able to actually edit the question and then edit the answers and then choose a correct answer, and that would be how I update that. Very rarely do I put anything in the correct answer key. It's really an unused field. In some cases, I can add what's called a written question to this, or I can add a multiple choice question. A written question is one that exists for projects, I'm going to go into a different class for you to see this. But if I go into session 2, sometimes instead of an evaluation of 10 multiple choice questions, they actually have projects involved. So I can see here that one of these should be projects 2, and I can click on view for that. And this is one big long question, and then the user is meant to plug in pictures and text, and it's a really long reply from them. It's a whole project that they need to actually be doing at their desk, and then when they're done, they're going to upload pictures for it. So that's going to be what we need there. Or that's going to be how these work. There's a multiple choice area and a written question area. Most of these are pretty much completed. I'll go back and back to the course again. So that's the evaluation section. Beneath that is a visibility section. So we can make this course private if we want to offer it for a special price to someone. We would basically make a second one and click on make it private. Once I click that, that's going to change this to a unique link right here. That unique link is something that can be used by a person who is private that might be able to buy this product on their own. I'm going to make this back to public so that this now would appear on the rest of the site. Lastly, there are certificates with each of these projects or with each of these sessions or products. So any of the courses are going to have a certificate that's going to be available to be uploaded. And when they complete all the evaluations successfully for that project or for that session, they will then get their certificate. I'll show you the existing certificate. You can see that it's a PDF and that it's actually putting in the user's name and the date that that was completed here. The rest of it is just an overlay, or the rest of it is just behind the text. So it just spits out a PDF here, which we have created. I'm going to X out of there. On the right-hand side here, you can see that there are other things like delete this course. We are not going to be doing that. We could go back to the list of courses. We can change the main picture for this course. We can list the documents that are there. Here are the 3 documents that go with this course. And then we can list the movies. So each one of these movies is a special section of the site. This area will be recoded for the front, for the new site moving forward. Okay, so I'll show you now what that looks like on the new site. Right away, you can see under Continuing Education, we've got courses, mini courses, and products. So we would just basically do a loop through all the products there, all the products and courses. The courses are at the top. We have the mini courses underneath. We need these to work and go to those anchors beneath there. In addition, we have some tags here, which I'm equating with categories. So basically, we'd need to be able to figure out a way that we can add some tags to each of these. So if they wanted to do something that was overbites, they could click on that and only those products would come up. So this page would kind of need to filter that out for them. On the right hand side, I'm kind of simulating a shopping cart here. So if they actually have added some things to their shopping cart, then they can see them there. We're going to go ahead and you would on these courses, not all of them make sense to add. It would only make sense to really add one of them for the courses. But for some of the products that are like hard copy or my cases, I just left this in here so that the user would be able to add that to the cart. Okay, so this would just be images. These are just fancy box images, and after that they could view that and they could go check out. We'll revisit that section in a little bit here. Okay, so moving along, let's show you what this course section looks like from the admin on the new site. Again, this is all static text, but we'll click on courses and products. And you can see here that I'm kind of redesigning it. This is all courses and products. but in this case I can kind of drag and drop the order of these items so that that's the order that I'd like them to display in on the front end. I can click on edit for any one of these, and once I click on edit, I'm kind of brought to this screen here. I'm trying to do as much on this screen as possible so we don't have multiple screens. We put in the course name up here. We're put in the course type. Now note that depending on the course type or the product type, certain elements may or may not appear. So for a course, we have price, private. If it's private, I'm going to need a link right here underneath it to be displayed on where this product can be purchased. The item description, the course notes, specifications, and features. Here's where I would upload my certificate. There's going to be a limit of 1 per course. Here are my course documents. Again, I can drag and drop those. Here are my course evaluations. I can drag the order of those. And here would be my modules. The modules are something that I haven't really shown you yet. So let's go over to the front end and let's go to my dashboard. Let's say we had purchased this course and here it's showing me a course. I'd like to go into it. Note that my courses actually shows you a little progress bar now. It should take the number of courses or number of tests for that session, and it will give a little progress bar on how far along they are. I can enter that course, and this video should be very similar. It will show you kind of the videos of that session. On the right hand side though, notice that these sections are divided into modules. So we have module 2, module 3, module 4. These are all videos within one session, but they need to be broken up into modules for some reason. So we need to do that. That is a direct correlation to this modules area here. So this is where we're going to assign the videos. Also on the right hand side we have our other courses, and then I've moved the evaluations to the front right underneath the video. I have course files that can be downloaded, and I have course notes that I alluded to earlier. The evaluations, again, those can be taken. We can view an existing evaluation of one. We can also take a new one, take a new evaluation. And I want to make sure that when they click on the back button that we get this message, because I want to make sure that people need to save their questions and they're going to lose their work if they click the back button. So I want to make sure they get that warning. Back, forward, or refresh. I want them to use the buttons on the screen. Okay, so I'll jump back over to the admin tool, and if I click on add edit videos, you'll be able to see that I'm able to add, edit, or remove the videos from each of these sections. The same with evaluations. I can check out the questions that go with each of these evaluations, and I can add a multiple choice or an open-ended question. So if it was open-ended, it should be a little different. Let's see if I did that. I might not have completed that section. Okay, I'll show you what that looks like in a different section. But these would be where the questions are. Again, I can reorder these as needed. I can also edit the name of them very quickly if needed, and I can choose whether it's published or unpublished. I also have my course documents. If I want to edit those course documents, I can upload a file and have that course document associated with a session, with a course. So this is a pretty complex area. I don't expect it's going to be understood right away, but if I change this to mini course, I think all of those fields still apply. And then if I change this to a product, you'll notice that it's a hard ship product. It might have some shipping prices that are associated with it. So that would be a hard product. I've got some SQL code here. If there's some special code you want to put on this page, that was suggested to me by another programmer. And then I have a bundle. A bundle is kind of interesting because we can put many courses together and when this product is purchased, it would basically put these courses within that user's admin tool or within that user's dashboard. So there's quite a bit of functionality going on this page. So just definitely make sure that you understand this page when quoting this work. Okay, so that pretty much covers the continuing education and classes section. It also covers the evaluation section. I don't think I showed you the evaluations on the new site, but this would be what that looks like. Here would be where you would view their answer, and this would be a second answer. Let's see if we've got. Okay, this would be the member's answer for a non-multiple choice. This would be if it was an open-ended answer, like a project where they had to upload images and text about that project. So if you need clarifications on this, let me know. But there are basically two types of questions: multiple choice and open-ended. Here's the status graded and they're passed. Here's where they're awaiting a grade. Here's where it's a graded and they failed, and then another awaiting grade. If we want to view their whole evaluation, you can see they got that right, this one wrong, and that one was right. If you want to grade something, it would show as ungraded, and you could view their answer. Basically, this would be a product or project, and they could choose whether that was correct or incorrect. By default, if they are a multiple choice question, then it should already know if they're right or wrong. In which case, I can change that if I need to. I can make that incorrect or correct. Again, feel free to ask me questions on this after this. But then basically we click on pass or fail. If they're above a 90%, it should automatically be 90% or 100. It would automatically be pass. And then if they failed it, it would be below that. So that's kind of how the evaluation section would work. Okay, so the next section of the member dashboard is forums. Okay, forums is done pretty sloppily on the last version, so we really are looking forward to a new design and some good interaction with this new section or with this new site. You can see here are the current topics. We've got some people that are replying back and forth, posting a reply. It just doesn't work that well. So this section will probably need to be kind of recoded from scratch, but we'll need to bring in these sections as well, or what was currently a prior forum post. So I'm going to show you what we've got here for this. Under the forum, we have, this would be a button that would only exist for the admin here, but we have these threads, basically, or these categories, I should say. And then within each category, I can see that there are multiple threads, and we've got some stickies here on the front end. So you can go into each one of these, and it will give you kind of the member posting, when they joined, their location, and then it will kind of go back and forth between people as it goes down. So it would be like a typical forum where the latest reply is always going to be at the bottom. So the most recent, or the first post is always going to be at the top, and the most recent will always be at the bottom. I'd like for this to be one long thread and possibly an infinite scroll type situation like Facebook. I've got some active users out here on the right that just shows me the other active users that might be on the forum at that time. If we can populate with this information, that would be fantastic. On the admin tool, it would look like this, where I can edit the order of the categories, and then within those categories, I can view my threads, and I can reorder those as well. I want to edit them, I can make them sticky, and I can also unpublish them. And I can change which category they display within. So if I want to move one topic to another category, I can do that. So that is the forum section. Okay, let's keep going along here. News and blog. This is just the news area. That would be just where they can sound off. And this is a public area. This is accessible to everyone. This is very simple. I'll show you what that looks like on the new site. Okay, it would just work just like a blog. Here's the first news article right here. I could click on read more and go into that article. And I would see upcoming events. That would just be part of the sidebar, and then recent news. We'll talk about the images at a later time, but basically I want to standardize the images so that they can add a row of 3, a row of 2, or a row of 1 anytime. And when they upload the image, it will kind of go into that section, and it will fill up that area. I also like to have the ability to crop images as needed on the site. So that's the news area. I'll show you as well. Let's see what's next here. Here are the topics, news and blog, articles. Okay, articles are going to change to something. It really hasn't been used much in the existing site. So this is going to be something called resources on the new site. And I want to show you what resources kind of looks like here. It's going to be called the resource library, where people can go and actually look for common things and files, basically, that they can download and use. So, for example, if they have a patient sign-up form for orthodontics, that might be under forms and letters that the admin can upload, and then the subscriber can then download and use for their use, or use as a template. So the admin side of that would look like this. The resource library. You got your files, which they would upload, and you could unpublish them. You could add or edit the file. You would say which category it would go within, and then the categories would be right beneath it here. So we could hopefully do all of this on one page, and you could publish or unpublish a category. So basically, this would be how that section works. Let's see here. I might do a drag and drop so that these categories can begin to be in a specific order, but I'm not sure on that yet. So it's going to be a very simple process. These files, these articles right here, we'll probably create into PDFs and then upload them as files within the resource library. Okay, case library. This is kind of a cool one because this shows the entire cases befores and after. So it shows basically from when the patient walks in their office for the very first time and then what they look like afterwards. So this is when they first walked in the office, and then this is 3 months later, this is 3 months later, this is 3 months later, all the way to finishing about a year later. This is post-treatment. And these images are visible, and they're pretty decent resolution. So these need to all be brought over. This is really one of the pieces of this website that people love. We've got a section that says duration, 18 months. Categories, we can pick off some categories here. And then each of these is actually a treatment. So if I click on this, it should scroll me down to that treatment itself. Here is how that looks on the back end. We can go to case library down here. And you'll see they basically have a very similar set of rules where we can click on, you can edit the before picture, edit the after picture. We can view the case, in which we can edit the treatment, which is the text, and the treatment date. We can also update the images, manage the pictures. And this is very, very messy and dirty. It never really was designed. And we can also delete the treatment that was there. So this is basically how that's currently managed. So the new site will be my cases here. I'm sorry, not my cases. This will be case library. Okay. This is where we'll actually have some of these categories here, and we're going to do a little isotope gallery where we can view these cases. I'm going to click on enter for any one of these. And you'll see that we're kind of making use of more of the screen. This is the first treatment. This would be the second treatment. Notice over here on the right, we're not actually putting in dates anymore, but instead we're putting in time between the treatments. So when I click these, they should go down and scroll to different treatments. I want to point something out on this one. In here, the images, it's very important that these images show up as a 5 set. This is a very common way that they display their cases. Left, center, testing. So each of these images usually go left, center, right, and then top and bottom. It's very important, and you'll notice that in many of the case libraries and in the My Cases that this is the way that it works, and this is the way they'd like it to work, where it's 3 across, so a row of 3, and then a row of 2. You will see how I've got this in the back end. We also have the option to do a row of 1 image, and then we'd also have the option to do a row of 2 images. I've created that somewhere here on one of the sections. I'll show you that here in a second. We go to Site Content News. Kind of skipping around in this section because that image area is very important. I need to find that one. Okay, I found that area that I was speaking about. The part that I would like to have is maybe a section where they could add just 1 image across. They could add a set of 2 images. They could add a set of 3 images. Or if they clicked on 5, they would get a row of 3, and then underneath it would be a row of 2. So I'd like to get that kind of option somewhere in the site. Now, I'm going to jump back to Case Library. We'll show up back here in a little bit. My dashboard and Case Library. And we'll just go back to this. But these 5 sets are very important. So just keep those in mind moving forward. They're not always going to be 5 sets, but 95% of the time they will be. If I want to skip to any one of these treatments, I should be able to click them and then go down to that treatment. Notice that as I scroll down that this follows me, this treatment summary follows me. I've got a total duration in the project, so this should hopefully calculate all the weeks here to be 4 months. And then we have little sections here. So if I wanted to click on, it wouldn't really be clickable, but it would just show some of the tags that would be associated with that. I'm going to show you what that case library looks like on the back end. Don't confuse those with My Cases, but the case library looks like this, where we can drag and drop them, and then we'd be able to see the treatments, in which case you could drag and drop the treatments, and then you can edit the treatments like so. And notice I've already created kind of this 5 set area here if they wanted to add it, so they would be able to edit what was there or remove what wasn't there. That would be kind of fairly, hopefully pretty user-friendly, that they could add, edit, or remove the images that were there for this on the treatment. Let's see, they could also edit the case in general. So they could edit the case name, they could update the main image, and they could add some kind of tagging section. I'm not sure really how this would look, so I look to you guys to kind of figure that out. And then you could save this, or save and go to treatments, or you could also view this. So if you wanted to view this case, you could come here to view it. I thought that I had under this the My Cases. Add a set of 2. I must not have created it, but I believe that well, I guess not. Maybe the CSS needs to be updated here. But there should actually be, okay, so there are placements here. I just haven't done the CSS with this or added the CSS for this part. And you can see that I've got, you know, what will kind of go in. So I've got the framework of what those image sections could look like. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the original site and we'll talk about active cases versus case library. There's a big difference here, and I want to show you what that means. Basically, a member can have cases that they create and need help with, basically. So if I go down here, I can see my cases, and you'll see that it basically goes back and forth. So this is a post by the admin, passed this test. This is another test. They normally don't look like this. So I'm going to go over to active cases and just show you one of them. And I'm going to pick one that's kind of recent. This section of the site really functions slowly. It really bogs down the site, sometimes even crashes it. So we'll probably need to relook at how some of this is done. So here's how this is. Basically, the very first case was posted by Robert. I'm sorry, it's going the opposite direction. It should go most recent towards the bottom and earliest towards the top. So we need to kind of reorder that. But notice that the dentist, the subscriber, plugs in a description and then images of what they've got. And then the admin replies to that. I'm going to go to a different case which has more feedback. Again, you'll see that the site is very, very slow during this. I want to find one that has a lot of back and forth to it, so you'll be able to see that. Okay, this looks like a good case here. So this, you can tell, has some good history to it. This is October 17th, 2011. This is October 10th. So we want to reorder this. We want to actually put this treatment from the dentist, or this upload from the dentist, at the top, and we'll put this one down here, down at the bottom. But basically, here's the process. They upload a treatment or a status right here, update, and they update their images. They can also add other files outside of images, like perhaps a PDF or a Word document or something like that. It's very rare, but it does happen. And this is where we'd like them to be able to add rows of things. So they can add a row. This would be a row of 1. But these guys look like they could all be a row of 3. So that would be kind of useful. Then the admin replies with a recommended treatment. They actually tell them exactly what to do, and they upload photos as well. A month later, they say, okay, thanks, I'll send more images once they have that, and then the admin says, thanks, we'll be looking forward to them. One more month goes by, and the subscriber uploads impressions or new images. So basically, this goes back and forth, but this is a private conversation between the subscriber and the admin. This is what's known as a My Case. Each user gets 3 My Cases per year. And in addition, they can also purchase additional My Cases. And that's a product that's currently on the site. If you go over to products here, you'll see that we can purchase a My Case. I think they're going to go up to $175. I don't think they're going to remain at $125. But you'll be able to see, the admin can see how many My Cases a user has. So active cases is what the admin sees, and they see all of the My Cases that are existing. In fact, they have 339 My Cases here. And unfortunately, we have no good way to get to them other than when they have to scroll all the way down, pick on the last number 17 here, and go to this. And you can see here that these are 4 cases that there's some feedback that's needed. Dr. Travis Jackson is very, very in need of some help here. So I have 3 My Cases going on at one time. The client gets an email every time, the admin gets an email every time someone else leaves feedback, and then vice versa. When the admin leaves feedback, the client or the subscriber gets an email. So we'll talk a little bit about emails later on. But this is where they would go to actually post feedback. So here's what a case will look like now. You'll have the original post, and I've altered the order. So this would actually be up on the top. So he would post his the very first, and then after that would be the admin's response would be on the left-hand side. And so it would basically go back and forth all the way down. Earliest at the top, latest at the bottom. Okay. Then the user or the admin could add a treatment or an update. And by clicking here, they kind of open this area. I'll show you what this looks like without this. So normally it's just kind of edit a treatment. And once I click that, it opens up to this area here where they can add text, they can post an update, a recommended treatment, more information needed, some text, and then some images that will look a little bit better. If they have an additional file, like a document or an Excel spreadsheet or anything like that, this is where they would do that and they would submit it. Okay. All right. The admin, once they're on the screen, would see this. They would see the cases that need feedback, so items that need some feedback here. I'm going to show you again what the My Cases look like. And you can see here, this is what a subscriber would see. But they would see, okay, here are my cases awaiting feedback. Here are the cases that have feedback received. Here are my active cases. Here are the ones that have more information needed. Here are some archived ones. These don't necessarily all match up. You notice I'll have some red exclamation points here. They don't necessarily match up with the status of any of these. This is all static dummy information. And then we can also click on all my cases. Basically, my thought was that the question mark would be awaiting feedback, and then the exclamation point would be feedback feedback received, or rather it would say more information needed. So those would kind of be accessible there. But this is where all those would apply. Now, you can also search those, so hopefully we could kind of do a search on the fly for any one of my past past cases if I'm a subscriber. As the admin, here's what you will see. You would see the My Cases section, and you would see awaiting feedback. And hopefully we can kind of have this section here which we could filter out awaiting feedback. Here are the active cases. If I want to search, I could do a very quick data table search, and then I believe the pagination happens on its own with this Medtronic theme. I'm not sure, but we'd also have some archived sections, and then lastly we have the kind of this notes section. I have to define what this is, but basically this would pop up a window that would allow her to have little notes that she could copy and paste from that are common things she normally plugs in. There's really not an admin screen for this. I can just jump to view this because the same screen that the admin will use is the same screen that the dentist or subscriber would use to make an update. The dentist would actually see, instead of seeing cases that need feedback here on the right, they would see other cases that they owned. So all the cases that they actually had would appear over here on the right hand side, so they could easily jump to that case. Okay, that's the My Case section. Virtual Tour is a static page with just a video on it. That should be pretty self-explanatory, just a WYSIWYG editor needed there. There will be a Pages section, there will be a News section. I have to define what those look like in the admin tool, but they're going to be pretty self-explanatory. The membership page is also a static page. The products page we already talked about. News and blog, articles, members. Okay, this is a section that's accessible to the admin, and this is just a way that they can administer permissions and revoke permissions. They can see how many orders the users had. This person has had none, so we're going to go to somebody who has had orders. Some of these don't have any. Okay, so this is a basic membership. Order number put in here. Price is $99. Quantity was 1. Transaction ID approved. Okay, so this would kind of need to be brought over for these. This also shows what their courses are. So this current person has the Wild World of Archwires. If I want to add new courses to them, I can do that right here. If we have a credit card on file, this will basically pull up their information. Not everybody does. So I'm just going to try and find one that does. And it doesn't look like a lot of them do, but a lot of their information should be here. I don't like how basically on this admin tool, the members are very difficult to get to. There's really no search function for it. There are 16 pages of records here, so it's kind of difficult to get to. I can update a password, a username. I can change the number of my cases. So currently this person has 0 left. I can change it to 1 if I have a call with the client, with the subscriber. I can update the email address. For all practical purposes, username and email address are going to be the same thing. I do not want them to be able to change one or the other. So if their username changes, that is their email. I do not want them to be able to change those. I can reset the password here as well, and I can update their picture. So these are all little links here that I do not love. I think they're very cumbersome. So the new section is going to be much simpler to manage. So if I go to members here, we've got kind of this dummy information. We're again using the data table, so hopefully there's a auto search right away there with Medtronic. We have how many My Cases they have left. We have how many courses they have left. If they click on My Cases, we're actually going to go to the My Case section, hopefully. Let's go to the dash. Let's go to members. Click on My Cases. I would go to that My Case page, and hopefully it would filter down to just that user, if possible. That doesn't currently work, but I'd like it to do that, where it was be like mycases.php, query string, member, so we could filter down by user, or maybe it could pre-search this right here. I don't know how it would work, but that would be something that would be very great. Then we could check on we could check on their orders. We can edit them. These essentially all go to the very same screen though. So you'll notice that courses goes to the screen and orders goes to the screen. If I just click on edit, I should see the exact same screen. It's just going to be a different spot of the page. Here's just all their information, what kind of membership they have. I can add or remove My Cases to their account, hopefully. I can check out to see how many My Cases they've used and jump to the My Cases page again. I can change their photo. They also will be able to do this. I can see how long they've been a member. I can see when their subscription is going to be up. Anything under a month, I'd like to put in red here as a subscription renewal notice. I also would like some automated emails to go out. Again, I'll touch on emails here in a second. Here's their credit card information. If we can get this, we'll put it in here. We'll have some notes that are private to the admin on that user. This would be a WYSIWYG editor. Here are the orders that they've had. I can create a new order if I'd like. Courses to add to their account when I do this. The amount to add, the amount to card. Again, we're going to be switching up to Stripe here. So we'd like to make sure that makes its way over to there. We would want to make this a recurring payment. We would want to charge this payment. We want receipts sent out upon this. If this is a recurring payment, we want to change this to monthly or bi-monthly or weekly, and then how many occurrences. So this will happen for 4 times. They'll get charged $12.99. Put in the information, click on save, and then instead of save, maybe that should say purchase, or that should say submit. Right here, you could view a receipt potentially. That's a page that I need to create. And we could also refund somebody if needed. So we could do that right from here. We have course permissions. So let's say that they didn't purchase a course, but I would want the course to actually show up there. I can click on Add New, and I would just choose any of the courses that are available and hit Save, and then those would show up within their courses. If I wanted to jump to their evaluations, I could go to the evaluations on that item, and it would show just that section or just the evaluations for that session. So if they were doing a set of evaluations for session 2, they would be able to see them right here, and it would only be those ones. It would only be the evaluations for that session and that user. Okay, so let's go back here. Another piece I'd like to do is this login as. I realize that there are sessions at play here, so what we're going to do is just kind of do a login as. And when that would happen, we go to that members dashboard. It would log the admin out if possible, and it would log them in as that user, so that they wouldn't have to remember a password, so they could easily see what a user would see very, very quickly. Let's see here. What other sections should we talk about? There's a section called calendar or events, and I'm going to kind of show and walk through that right now. Right here, I've got an event that shows up. You're going to notice that it looks very similar to the news section, which is fine. That's not a big deal. There's a little sign up link that if it's populated, it will appear, and we'll have some venue information down here, maybe with a little an iframe map if needed, and then it's got the dates of the event. Currently on the existing site, you'll see that the news is hidden down here. Upcoming events, see all. And we've got this really ugly calendars. They only have about 8 events per year, so there's really no need for it to be on a set calendar, because there's not often, you'll normally see one thing per month. So as you click on these, you can see what the actual event is, and they're putting it in. This is how we'd like it to look moving forward, where the upcoming events look like pretty good here. Again, these 3 sets of images, little slider if possible, and some venue information. On the back end, I'll show you what the events look like. This would be kind of the events as they're showing up here. Again, we kind of have these, you'll notice these all throughout here. We've got some past events, some unpublished events, and then some upcoming ones. And then there, again, you won't really see a calendar anymore, but instead what you will see is kind of this order of events. So instead of a calendar, we actually just have an order of these events. You'll notice that if I click on Edit, I can go to that event, and I can fill in that title. I can fill in the date of the start and of the end. I can fill in the start time and the end time. If needed, it's not required. We can put a sign-up link. So if there is a sign-up link where we want to send people to, and normally they won't be signing up on our site, they'll be signing up at a different site altogether. So we'll just kind of say where we got them to go for that event when they want to sign up. And that would be a target equals blank if that was clicked. We'd have the location information, name, phone number, address. If we could do a Google Maps lookup, that'd be fantastic, but I have no problem if we need to fill in the link into this field. We have a description, we have some notes. Basically, that's all that's going to be needed. We'll have, if we could do multiple images, I haven't really set this up for multiple images, but if we could do a multiple image kind of thing for a slider, that would be fantastic. That would be great. And then they would update that, and hopefully those events would appear on the front end. Okay, I think we've gone over a lot here. I'm just going to comb through and pause the video for a second. Okay, I almost did forget about the discount section. There are discounts here on the current site, and we can create discounts that come with things. So on some items, like for example, with a basic membership comes a product called Wild World of Archwires. It's basically a mini course that we bundle up together. We also do a very similar thing. So if you are purchasing if you are purchasing a continuing education, if you're purchasing any one of these, any of these automatically come with 1 year premium membership included in the price. So as you purchase this item, you would need to check out. When you checked out, automatically that would get added to the cart would be the free premium year, and it would be a strike through like it was discounted off of there. I'll show you kind of what we've thought the new checking out would look like. So in order to check out, you have to have an account. Of course, let's go to continuing education and hit view cart, and you can see here if you had this complete 4-session package, underneath it would be a row that was kind of bound to this. So if you added this item to the cart, you'd automatically have a free 1 year premium membership. So we would want to make sure that that was automatically put in there. There would be a coupon section here. So we've got the ability to where would it be? Courses. We have discounts right here. This is where you could add a coupon section, and you could say if you wanted the coupon code to be this. We would not make it case sensitive. We would say we want $25 off, and we want to exclude these few products, and we would put in a start and end date. So those would only be existing on those dates. We could publish or unpublish those and hit save. And then on the front end, this is where you plug in that coupon code and apply it. Okay. Then we could proceed to checkout. And at this point, we'll either log in or sign up. I'm going to hit sign in. And it's going to ask me my billing address, shipping address. I don't think Stripe requires all of this. But I like to have this section would be, normally would be disabled unless they checked this. Proceed to payment. They could put in their credit card information and click on review order. At that time, they would be able to review everything in there, and they would click on submit order, and then it would go to you could go to your member dashboard afterwards. The member dashboard would be kind of robust. I'm just going to go through all these, make sure we got them. We would be able to update our name and our profile information. So if I wanted to update this, I would be able to. I really want to try and get people to update their image on here, especially for the forum, so that they can kind of be a little more personal with that. So if we can kind of bug them to do this and say your portfolio is a certain % complete, and I'll just always put like 85% complete, or just kind of bug them to update their profile picture, that would be great. You can put in complete my profile, something like that. So again, I need to work on some CSS on here because it looks like I've broken something. Let's see here. This is just an icon right here. That's not the actual image. The image would be over here on the right-hand side. My courses would be courses that I have currently purchased, and it would have basically this information. I could jump down to see my courses that were all purchased. My cases, this would be the number of cases that I have created. Again, not case library, but my cases. This would be the forum, so I could jump off and go to the forum and just kind of interact with some other people there. I could go to resource library. This is where all my resources and forums are. Talked about that. Go to latest news, go to upcoming events, CE credits. This is where I could actually view my CE credits, and looks like I might have incorrectly addressed that. I can't remember what the link is off the top of my head. But this is where they would basically see all of their CE credits and which courses they had gotten them from. And they could view their document that was for each session or for each course that they had completed. So it would give them, this would be one place that they could go to get all of that information. There'd be the case library. We talked about that. That is private to any member. And then we can view any of the orders that the current person has created. So you could view any of the orders that had already been made in the past. So I think I've gone over most of all of this. Feel free again to give me questions on anything that you need to have explained. The timeline on this is going to be pretty quick. We need to kind of move on this and get this out to appease the client. Obviously, the breadcrumbs will need to show people where they are so they can at any time go back. We do have the sticky menu. We've got a number of static pages here, which I will code in here. This is just an FAQ section. I can code this, not a problem. Recent news, upcoming events, a common sidebar. Search for any of the news or events. That would be great. And that's pretty much the process. This will be hooked up to MailChimp or Constant Contact. I'm not sure yet. This would be able to see all the visible courses. There are some cases that are public. We're probably going to make it only 3. So in here, one of the things that I forgot is that the case library, we need to be able to edit whether it's public or not. So there, we'll just add one extra checkbox here that says public or private. If we have private, actually the checkbox will say private ? And then there'll be a check right there. So if they check that, actually, I'm sorry, let me back up. It will say public with a question mark. So if they check that, then it would be one of the actual public cases. That would be one of the cases from the case library that would be available here. And they could view that to go to one of the cases. I haven't hooked that up. This would be dynamic. This would need to also be dynamic, these news and events sections. I know we've got some sponsors down here that I will administer with just some HTML in the end. That is a very, very in-depth run-through of the site, so I thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions, please let me know. Please get to me some numbers as soon as possible and get me a timeline. The client is very, very excited to get this going. Thank you much.